I have been waiting for so long to be able to launch this. Today I'm launching Evergreen Book Club. I love books. I have always been a big reader. My parents started my book collection before I was born. They fostered such a huge love of reading from a very young age in me. It, it's the place that I go back to. It's the thing that gives me comfort. It's the thing that gives me entertainment. It's just books are such a huge part of my life. As you can see, one of the many bookshelves in my office, and it doesn't stop there. I have a book problem. If you've heard of bookworms, I'm more of a book dragon. I like to hoard and collect them. But I wanted to start a book club for a really long time. I have always wanted to have a book club, but it's never really worked out with my life, my schedule. It wasn't something that I wanted to like host at home or find a group in my neighborhood. I live in an area that's really conservative, and I'm a lot more liberal minded, and so the books that I'd be choosing might not be the books that they would be choosing. I looked at online alternatives, and I just never really found one that fit. Most online book clubs focus on new releases, which makes sense. It helps promote authors as new books are coming out. But I wasn't always in a position to purchase every book for a book club. And I'd try to put a new release on hold at the library. And if you've ever used the library system before, you know that that can take a few months sometimes to get in. So I wanted a book club that would work with those schedules. Back in February, I was sort of like really shoved into the spotlight unexpectedly with a video that went viral. And I've been trying to navigate how I can take that platform and use it for the best good. It's why I started my newsletter, Evergreen Current. It's on Substack, and it has every Tuesday I do a weekly recap of the news, because you might have noticed there's a lot of news going on, similar to the videos I share here with sort of news recaps and things. And then on Saturdays, I have an arts and culture newsletter, because that was such a huge, important thing to me to have that arts and culture column. And in that column, I was sharing books, Canadian authors. The arts and culture column, has a Canadian content quota, a CanCon quota. And I thought that was a really good way to do it. I started initially trying to do like these Toonie Tuesday videos to promote indie authors, that people could pick up their books for a couple of toonies. But it just didn't feel enough. I felt like I should be doing more. And the idea of a book club started to take hold, and I started talking about it online. I talked about it on social media. I talked about it in my newsletter a bit, and it never just left me. So I started planning in the background and coming up with ideas of what would my ideal book club look like, and what would I want as a reader, considerations. So after all of those months of planning, I came up with Evergreen Book Club. Here are the basics. Number one, 100% Canadian authors. Every single book choice will come from a Canadian author. The reason I want to choose Canadian authors is not just because I'm Canadian. Canadian authors have unique challenges. I'm a writer myself. I'm not published yet, but I am a writer myself. And I've talked to a lot of agents and editors and people in the industry, and they say that Canadian writers are in a unique position. If you want to be traditionally published, oftentimes you have to agree to spell everything in American English. You have to change your places. You can't set it in Canada. If you want to have an audience in North America, you have to set it in America. You have to change things, like instead of using like grade 8, grade 9, you're using like sophomore, freshman, the terms that Americans would be comfortable with. Or you can choose to stay Canadian, but you limit yourself, because American publishers won't want to take you on. So you limit yourself to just the population of Canada who would want to get your books. So it really cuts down the amount that you can sell, and it makes it a lot more difficult for Canadian authors. So number one, I wanted to promote the great work. I think we have amazing, talented authors here. I wanted to promote what they're doing. The number two reason is Canadian authors get paid if you check their book out at the library. I want it to be accessible. By accessible, I mean, first of all, economically. Not everyone has the budget for books. And so the majority of the choices, not always, but the majority of the choices will be books that you should be able to find at a local library. You should be able to maybe find them at a used bookstore. In some cases, you might have them on your bookshelves already. If it was like an assigned reading at school or something, you might have a friend that has a copy who can borrow it, who could lend it to you. Also looking at things like accessibility, people who need to read it digital or large format or audio versions, it's all inclusive. So the choices that I'm making for these books, I'm trying to keep all of those factors in mind when I'm looking at the availability of content, how people can access it. So I wanted to make sure that things were available at the library. But the reason that I'm going not just with new releases is the library can have holds for a really long time. So when a book comes out on order and you might put a hold on it right away, it could take forever to get in. And that can be really discouraging if you're trying to keep up with a monthly reading with other people. It can make you not want to be part of the book club because you're missing, by the time I've had it before, but I tried to participate in book clubs where the book of the month was selected. I put it on hold as soon as I heard. I didn't get it till 4 months later. They were already, they had reviewed it, they had spoiled it, it was done. And that was really discouraging for me. So part of it is I'm not just going to be choosing brand new books. I'm going to be choosing slightly older books, maybe a couple of years into their cycle, or even maybe old classics, Canadian classics that people haven't really read or perhaps need to come back out in the conversation, books that you should be able to easily obtain. That's not to say there won't be any new books. One of the book selections for the first quarter is a brand new book, and I will explain why. That leads me into timelines. Instead of announcing a book every month, I am going to make one announcement every quarter. So in every month, we'll have one fiction pick, and there also going to be one nonfiction pick for the whole quarter. I find nonfiction takes a little bit longer to read, so having that 3-month buffer period to be able to go through it might make it a lot easier for people. Also, by announcing all of the book choices at the beginning of the quarter, it gives people a chance to put in library holds. If it's a new book, get on like the first on the list, or get your library to order it in, track down a copy, or budget for it if you want to purchase something. So by announcing it at the beginning, hopefully people will be able to make sure they're participating for 3 months at a time. I really want people to be able to go at their own pace with this. That brings us to how you can participate. So I am going to mostly be hosting this on YouTube. YouTube, I will do a quarterly announcement of all the book choices. At the beginning of the month, I'll also do a video sort of talking about that specific book. Halfway through the month, I'm going to do a live where you can come and chat with me and we can talk about where we are in the reading. And then hopefully, and I'm trying to get this worked out, but hopefully I will be able to get some of the interviews with the authors, some other authors as well that you might be interested in. And at the end of the month, there'll be sort of a bonus video. But I want you to be able to go at your own pace. So it'll be hosted on YouTube. There will also be a portion on Substack. Substack is where I will write out the choices as well. So if you want to be able to follow along, it also is the same newsletter that has my weekly news recaps, and it has my Saturday arts and culture column. So if you're interested in that, if you're already a subscriber, great. You're already part of the book club mailing list, so you'll be in there as well. If you want to do a deeper dive, so all of that content will be free. It'll be on YouTube for free. It'll be available to you to chat in the YouTube boxes. Mailing will go out through Substack. That is all free if you subscribe through the free portion of Substack. For anyone that wants to delve in a bit deeper, I'm going to have a paid subscribers only chat exclusive to Substack. I'm doing it for a couple of reasons. Number one, I think sometimes with social media, when these chats are really open, you can get a lot of spam and bots, and it's very public and very traceable. And I think just adding that extra layer of security allows for more open conversation. It also weeds out people who are maybe bad actors or anything else, the spam like I talked about. But the other, very transparently, the other thing is to allow me to continue to do this work. I'm not being sponsored currently. I am just bankrolling this myself because I really genuinely love it. And I'd like to be able to afford to keep doing it. So if anybody wants to kick in money that way, they absolutely can. But so much of this will be free, so don't feel that you need to do that. I've also been in talks with a lot of indie authors who I've been chatting with about this idea. And a lot of indie authors in Canada sell through digital platforms, but they do not have a presence in libraries. Some of them have expressed that they want to be included. Maybe we might do like free giveaways, bonuses, something like that. I haven't worked out all the details yet. I am still talking to those authors, but I want to be able to shine a little bit of a spotlight on them as well. Without being official book club picks, because if they're not available in libraries and print and all the different formats, they wouldn't qualify for an official book club pick. They might be like a little bonus extra feature or some freebie that you might be able to get. All right, so when does this launch? If you're watching this video, this is the launch. Officially, the launch is Canada Day. The first quarter will be July, August, September. Without further ado, here are the book selections. The book selections vary. I'm trying to make it as inclusive as possible, as varied as possible. And that means different genres of books. It means different timelines when they were published, people from different backgrounds. I am trying to make it so that we're reading as diversely and deeply through Canadian literature as possible. There's also different sort of reading levels. We'll have some easier books, some more challenging books. The number one pick for July will be Hana Carries On. This is a book by Uzma Jalaluddin, and she is a Canadian author out of Ontario. You might have heard of her big debut hit called Aisha at Last. This is her second book. It came out in 2021. It is classified as a romance novel. She also has a book that's come out in 2025 called Detective Auntie. So if I'm hoping that by introducing you to her, not her debut, that's already been a really big hit, but maybe discussing her second novel. And also, she has a brand new novel that's come out. If you like her then, you might like her now, is kind of my thinking. But it also just sounded like a really fun book. I'm going to read you the copy from the book itself. Sales are slow at Three Sisters Biryani Poutine, the only halal restaurant in the close-knit Golden Crescent neighborhood. Hana waitresses there part-time, but what she really wants is to sell stories on the radio. If she can just outshine her fellow intern at the city radio station, she may have a chance at landing a job. In the meantime, Hana pours her thoughts and dreams into a podcast where she forms a lively relationship with one of her listeners. But soon she'll need all the support she can get. A new competing restaurant, a more upscale halal place, is about to open in the Golden Crescent, threatening the Three Sisters. I am also, and you will come to learn this, a sucker for books with food in them. I love movies about restaurants and cooks. I love books about restaurants and cooks. So when there's ever like a contemporary fiction selection and some of it has to do with cooking, I'm probably going to make that choice over the other ones. So that is going to be our very first intro. I think it's going to be a really fun summer read. Those July summer months, we want something that's like a bit fun, a bit flirty, and I think that will be a really good choice. Now, I should point out so that one I got from the library. This one I found on a bookshelf, my mom's bookshelf. This book used to be required reading. It wasn't when I was in high school, but it was when my mother was in high school. This is actually the copy of the book from 1969 that she read in school. And it is the Canadian literary classic, The Tin Flute by Gabrielle. Now, I don't know what this book is truly about other than the copy of it. I do know that it was a huge hit. It started out as a novel in French and then was translated into English and then for many years was taught in school. Gabrielle, her roots are from Quebec, but she was actually from Manitoba. She's a Francophone person from Manitoba who was born and raised there and educated there. This book, it says in 1972, I guess, was $1.95. So I am hoping this is one of the books, The Tin Flute is one of the books that you can find easily at your library, any used bookstore, potentially on your parents' bookshelves or grandparents' bookshelves, depending on your age. The story itself is about a family during World War II, the sacrifices they're making in the slums of Saint-Henri. Oh, my French is bad today. The slums of Saint-Henri in Montreal. It is long been celebrated. Honestly, one of the books that I should have read a long time ago and just haven't. I think a lot of people have classic books like that on their shelves that they keep thinking, I should read that. For me, this is also Crime and Punishment that I've been trying to read for about a decade now. But as far as Canadian lit classics go, I think this is a good one. After it was published, this book won a Governor General Award. It won many awards. It was published in French and then in English. And it became so famous that Gabrielle actually had to leave Quebec. She had to go back to Manitoba to get some privacy again. So I think there will be some very interesting discussions about that. I would love to hear if you have read this book, if you've read any of this book, but if you've read this book, if you had to read it in school, leave me a comment below. I would love to hear about that. It definitely wasn't one of my picks in high school. When I went to high school, we read Animal Farm 1984, Romeo and Juliet, Midsummer Night's Dream, A Tale of Two Cities, The Handmaid's Tale. So really heavy on dystopian literature when I went to high school, I guess. But that is one that I know that other curriculums include. Now for September's choice, I do not have a book to show you because it hasn't been published yet. This is one of my things that I said sometimes there would be a book that isn't quite out yet or is brand new. And this is one of those exceptions. Now, I am choosing it to make it the September pick because it gives you a few months to get on those hold lists, those pre-orders, whatever you need to do to get this book. It comes out at the beginning of September. So hopefully you'll be able to. I know that my library has already had it on order and I'm already on hold for it. And the book, I guess I should mention the title, is called Oxford Soju Club. It's by an author named Jinwoo Park. He lives out of Montreal and is he's a book translator. He translates Korean books into, I believe, English. This is one of those instances that I'm going with this book because I really think it's just going to be an awesome book. Jinwoo Park is on TikTok. That's how I found him. And he does these amazing videos sort of telling history about Korea and politics and goes into real in-depth pieces. And I find him so fascinating to listen to that I thought, I will read whatever this man writes. I have been so excited for this book for so long that I just needed to make it one of my picks. And while July's pick is going to be contemporary romance and August's pick is historical fiction Canadian classic, this pick is straight up spy thriller mystery. It's actually about Korean spies from 3 different nationalities: North Korea, South Korea, and America. Basically, someone gets assassinated, somebody else is on a run because of it. They're all intersecting. I don't want to spoil any of it for people who don't like to read the back cover of the book, but it sounds like a riot of a good time. I can't wait to read this. It is Jinwoo Park's first novel, so I also think it's really important to support an author's first novel. And also, can I just say, the book cover, whoever designed the book cover, really, really good. I love this graphic design. So that is one that I've been excited about for a while. Let's talk about the nonfiction pick. So as I said before, nonfiction I think is really intimidating. A lot of people won't read it because it can be so deep or hard to get through. I've known other people who say like it just makes them feel a little dumb, like they don't understand if they're questioning what's going on in it. They don't really have anyone to turn to. It can be very isolating for people who that's not their genre. Also, just honestly, sometimes you're not in the mood. Sometimes you want a mystery or a romance. You don't necessarily want to read about economics. So it can take a little bit longer depending on where you are in life. And I thought the first pick that we should go with is a memoir. Specifically, I've decided to choose this book. It's called Invisible Boy. It's by Harrison Mooney. And full disclosure, I don't know Harrison, but this book takes place in my hometown where I live in Abbotsford. It is it's a memoir. It's a story of Harrison who is Black, and he was adopted into a very extreme evangelical Christian white family. And it's all about his relationship and growing up being quite isolated in this extremely conservative town within that family as well, who seem ultra conservative. And then later on, getting to reconnect with his birth mother. This is a book that I picked up the moment I heard about it, but every time I haven't been able to read it. I've been really wanting to read it. It's been sitting on my TBR pile, and I keep not reading it, not because I don't want to, just because I don't have time to really delve in. I haven't had time to delve into the focus that it will take to read this book. So that's the one that I've chosen for our nonfiction pick. We're going to ease into it with a memoir, although I will be honest, I think this book might be quite triggering for some people who deal with a lot of issues around religion and deconstruction and racism. Like it's a pretty hefty choice for a memoir. I don't want to play it off like it isn't, but I think it's going to be a really interesting and important read. So there you have it. This is the Evergreen Book Club. Please leave me a comment below. Please tell your friends. If you know other people who love to read, who would like to be part of an online community that's very low key, it is participate as much or as little as you want. I'm hoping this is going to be a way for us to help promote Canadian authors. And it's not just for Canadians to join either. People from all over the world, I would love to have you in this book club. We're going to focus on Canadian authors, but I want to have worldwide readers. I think it's important to showcase what amazing talent we have in this country. And I hope you come along the journey with me. If you like this idea, please like, share, and subscribe to the video. Leave me a comment below. Tell me about the books that you read in school. What was your assigned reading? I'd be interested to know. Clearly, my mom's in high school was the Tin Flute. But yeah, leave me a note below. Let me know what you guys had to read in high school. And I look forward to talking to you soon about some books. I wasn't lying when I said that I like books about food. This whole shelf here, this is all books that are French, and a lot of them are about stories to do with food involving France. This shelf back here is only books by chefs, and then all of the cookbooks down below. I love food in a book.